on a count of three, everybody run back to your fantasy. Now go, 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 go. And on a count of three, go. Okay, yeah, your ruling planet goes direct, finally. Still in Aries. But Mercury's moving into Taurus, baby. And that retrograde. I don't know. I was like thinking, I'm like, why is Go stuck in my head by Common and John Mayer? But that line, on a count of three, everybody run back to your fantasy. And I don't feel like you guys have a fantasy to run back to anymore. Yo, it's your girl Jay, the High Priestess, back at it again with the general tarot reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Taurus season 2024, baby. And let's just go ahead here because it's already flowing. So I'm going to create a safe space for my benevolent ancestors, Mother God, Father God, Mother Earth, thanking you for the most useful, helpful, and divinely aligned messages for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Taurus season 2024. Hydrate, light it if you got it. Because that retrograde cleared some shit up for y'all, huh? I feel like the old delusions, the old fantasies, the old kind of narratives and stories or lies you've been telling yourself. No mas. No more. I feel like you have gotten a straight shot of reality after that retrograde and the retrograde in Aries, and it's meant to reveal to you the fullness of who you are, the fullness of the consciousness you've embodied, the narrative, the stories you've been telling yourself, and the ways that you've embodied those stories and your behavior has been influenced by them. And so there is something here with like, go. But you ain't got no fantasy to run back to anymore. It's time to run towards reality. And let's get into it. Asking for the most useful, helpful, and divinely aligned messages for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Taurus season 2024. Ain't no fantasy to run back to, baby. That illusion, The Knight of Cups reversed and the Five of Swords. You can't go back to the old fantasy. There is so much disappointment and heartbreak and shady behavior and shit that you guys have got to get over. There may have been somebody with Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius placements that I just feel like the tie is severed, or there's still all this emotional conflict. And something new and better is on the horizon anyway. So why settle for the Knight when you could get the King or an Emperor, depending on how you view yourself? But the first thing to be clarified on the Selenite throne, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, is you're learning what to say no to. I feel like you're learning what is enough. I feel like you're also starting to see that there are still some emotional bridges that need to be crossed. There is an emotional outpouring that needs to be experienced. I feel like there is something about not only an emotional outpouring, but also disillusionment. The ways that you've been disillusioned, the ways that you've leaned into the fantasy and just like, this feels very Piscean. I don't know if some of you have been fucking with somebody with a Pisces Sun, Moon, or Rising, or a Gemini or Libra Sun, Moon, and Rising, but I just feel like the fantasy has fallen away and all that's left is the truth, and the truth may be dismal. Some of y'all are breaking up. Some of you are taking back your love, taking back your adoration, taking back your offer. There may be somebody that is doing that, cutting ties with you. Some of you are finally like seeing the truth. Some of you, it's like, I can see clearly now the fucking rain is gone. And there's all this cloudiness. There's all this emotional unrest. I feel like you guys have been vacillating, going back and forth, and the indecision is done. The time of indecision has come to its conclusion, and all you're left with is these 3 swords that are still in your heart, and that I feel like you're doing your part to actually extract. I feel like with that Mercury retrograde, your ruling planet, Mercury retrograde in Aries is really like, we don't have, ain't no more playing GA. We don't have time for the bullshit. You can't be making decisions off of illusions and making decisions out of pain and disappointment, making decisions out of fear. When I say, do you know the difference between a knight, a king, and the emperor? Baby, that retrograde in Aries, that solar eclipse that we had in Aries, I'm filming it today. The solar eclipse happened earlier today, and it's done a number on you. Your ruling planet has been in it. All these planets have been in it, and Mars, I feel like, is trying to remind you of your power, trying to remind you of who you are, what you're worth. That you've been accepting way less than what you should actually deserve. Yes, there's been some of you have been betrayed, some of you have been played, some of you have been lied to. Some of y'all have done the lying, betraying, and playing. So maybe this is the consequence of some actions from before. But I do feel like you reap what you sow. And the Emperor as the center of the reading, it's like the divine's asking you, yo, who are you and what are you trying to do about it? Where are you taking this energy? What's going on with your relationship to discipline, to structure? Can you create a plan and stick to it? Taurus got the 8 of Wands too. And I'm telling you, there's this boost of energy. The pace is picking up. Things are moving faster, at a faster rate now. And it's the quickening. I just heard the quickening. You're experiencing the quickening. And I also feel like there's opposition. There may be somebody with Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius placements that's coming in hot, coming in and revealing the truth to you. There may be somebody with Gemini, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius placements, or Scorpio, that I feel like is showing up as a boss or an authority or a mentor or a guide. There also may be somebody of power or in a higher place of authority than you. This may also be your father opposing you, your mother opposing you. There could just be something here with needing to interact with Aries energy in a different way. Aries is just a response to Pisces. And Aries is the embodiment of consciousness. And I just feel like your consciousness has been evolved through this retrograde. And so the way you embody this newfound consciousness is needing to be set up. You're needing to figure this out. Figuring out how to create a plan and stick to it. How to tend to like better organizational habits. Some of you are starting to see the pain in your father. Some of you are starting to see like the wounds of the father, the transgressions of the father. Some of you are becoming parents. Some of you are, there may be somebody coming into your life that's a bit older and maybe they're a parent. But the Emperor at the center of the reading is like, yo, there's a whole new foundation in the realm of what you know about yourself to be true. I also feel like this retrograde in Aries has taught you guys where your armor has been weak and where you need to armor up, where you need to, and armor up as in protect yourself and ask the divine, the God of your understanding, for protection. Not armor up as in, fuck these hoes, I'm gonna just do what I wanna do, I'm gonna play how I wanna play, and I don't care about anybody's feelings. Some of you have had really negative things to say about men. Some of you have very negative perceptions around the masculine, and it's leading you to have, it's like, okay, so it's like, if you think men are trash and you think relationships are trash, how do you expect to materialize a relationship in your life with a healthy, sensitive, caring, considerate man. And that's assuming, not saying that all of y'all are interested in men, but I do feel like regardless of what you're interested in and what you date, your relationship or your understanding or your perspective of the masculine needs to be reevaluated. Some of you have been hurt recently and you've been talking a lot of shit on relationships, talking a lot of shit on love. When honestly, ooh, boop, boop, I gotta say it like this, it's not men you should be talking shit about, it's your decisions. Your ability to ignore a red flag, your ability to just like eat up the drama for the sake of stimulation, or to go for something just because it's like movement for the sake of movement, like drama just because it's something to do. You know, Geminis, y'all can do this thing where it's like you need so much stimulation and you do so much shit and you end up distracting yourself and you don't spend enough time with yourself. It's like there's music going, the TV's on, you're texting 3 people, you're organizing an event, you're making lunch, you're reading a book. It's like, when do you get to be with yourself? And if you're struggling to be with yourself, and if you're struggling to enjoy your own alone time, why am I supposed to enjoy being around you if you don't enjoy being around you? And I hate to put it like that, but that's how it is. And your ruling planet's been in Aries. You're used to this like honest, brutal truth. And that's how it's coming out. It's coming out that you need time with you. You need to learn how to put your oxygen mask on. You need to learn how to healthily prioritize yourself, because the Emperor is going to tend to the Emperor first. So if there's someone in your life that has Aries or Scorpio placements, I feel like you're about to see a whole new side of them. You're about to see a whole new side of them. And I also feel like the previous betrayals that you guys have experienced are, you're finally absorbing the lessons, finally absorbing the information. Final card, final message for Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The Hangman reverse, and you get free. And your wishes start to come true, but the divine is stripping you down first. You guys are having to relearn intimacy, and you be trying to have intimacy with everybody but yourself and God. And now the divine's like, oh no, you want to break free? You don't want to feel like this shit anymore? You're going to be forced to look at your spirit, forced to experience yourself, forced to familiarize yourself with the sensation of your spirit so you can see your own red flags, so you can see the flaws in your picker, and then evolve and let that old version of you that just liked stimulation for the sake of stimulation die, because you are being guided to a place of receptivity. The divine's trying to pour into you. The divine wants you to surrender, wants you to remember that you are being guided by a cosmic force. There may be somebody with Aquarius placements that's playing a big role. There may be somebody with Pisces placements that I feel like is really, you're understanding them in a different way. You're understanding your connection in a different way. I feel like you guys are getting free, but also there's a group of you who have been ignoring the fact that there's pain, or there's punishment, or there's shame, or there's guilt in some sort of way. This like self-flagellation thing is not working. I do feel like some of you finally take the hint and the insight comes in, and it may be by way of somebody with Leo placements, or you spending time in the sun just coming out. It's Taurus season, so spring is finally going to start to spring for real everywhere, in this hemisphere. But the Hangman reverse, I just feel like your subconscious mind has been nudging at you. And you guys have been doing this thing where you just keep yourself so fucking busy that you don't have time to like tune into your subconscious mind. But the divine's like, yo, you want to be on Emperor level, right? How are you going to get on Emperor level if you can't encounter and be with and fall in love with your amness, your you-ness, you know? And that's all that Aries energy is. It is I am. It's me. What you show the world is changing. What you know about yourself is changing. And I'm excited to clarify this in the plunge. This is going to be juicy. And I hope to see you over there on Patreon, patreon.com/JustJEverything. For free shit, check out my Instasham, Hydrate. JustJ_everything, TikTok at JustJEverything, and for other dope shit that I do, check out my website, JustJEverything.com. And also remember that the channeled song for you for this season is in the description box below, along with all my links. So check that stuff out. But let me zoom out. So so first things first, with the Knight of Cups reversed, money may be a little bit funny. There could just be something with like champagne taste on a beer budget. There may be someone around you with champagne taste on a beer budget. There may be someone trying to court you that you start to realize is not up to par in some sort of way. There could be offers coming in that you've declined. But I also feel like some of you, there's like this internalized intimacy and romance that you're denying yourself. And that's why the star is coming out. It's like, it feels like God's like, yo, come hell or high water, you gonna get this work. You gonna figure out how to fall in love with yourself. If I gotta strip you down to the bare bones, if I gotta strip you down to the baseboards, I will. And you will learn how to rebuild. Clearly, with the Aries energy here, you will learn how to rebuild. The people that are supposed to help you rebuild will be brought into your energy, brought into your sphere. But the ways that you've been holding yourself back, it's just not going to work anymore. The ignoring of your subconscious mind, the ignoring of why you're doing what you're doing, the ignoring of the pain, the ignoring of the grief, the ignoring of the anger or the rage, it's just not going to work anymore. And so with the Knight of Cups reversed, I just feel like it's time to get back in that place of romance with yourself, to romanticize your own life, to remind yourself of how dope you are and how dope your life is. And that will put you in the point or in the position where you start to attract other people who have done the work to generate a very dope life for themselves. And therefore 1 + 1 can equal 2. And there's this proper merging and mingling that happens. But with the Knight of Cups reversed, there could be emotional manipulation. There may be someone that has been manipulative, somebody that's very in and out, someone that's very non-committal in your life. And it just feels like it's hurt for the last time. Let it the fuck go. So that you can go ahead and start to do your work to uproot these swords out of your heart. So you can stop carrying around the pain and the disappointment or the grief or the loss. You can finally be done with looking in the past and wondering why shit went down the way shit went down. And you can finally start getting into the present and being here now, being with you now, being in your body, being in your spirit, reconnecting to that aliveness that is inside of you, reconnecting to that God-given vitality and energy, reconnecting to source in a way that puts you in the position to not be afraid of the fact that the pace is picking up, not to be afraid of any opposition coming your way. And I don't think that you guys are necessarily afraid. I know that you're adaptable and you have all the tools that you need to do all the things. But I don't know if you guys have been here yet. And it feels like where you're going career-wise, where you're going attitude-wise, where you're going self-image-wise is a place that will require you to do some emotional inventory, peeling back the layers of your subconscious mind and really evaluating your childhood. Some of you are having issues with dating because you have unresolved issues with your father. Some of you are having issues and you've been denying this, or you haven't done the work, or you know that it's a thing and you need to like tend to it. Some of you, it's not your father, it's your mother. Some of you, your mother shows up very masculine or very hard, militant in some sort of way. There may be somebody who is in the military that is coming back around. Y'all may be thinking of going into the military. I would advise not. I would not. Now is not the time to do that. Because what's coming up in November 2024, what Pluto has to say about all this, I would just not be in the military right now or trying to sign up for it. You may have somebody in your life that your child or your husband or somebody that's thinking about going into the military, and I would strongly advise not to do that. They will get caught up. But Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, there is shame, there's guilt, there's pain. There's a regret of how you handled situations. Some of you are really mad at yourself, mad at how long you stayed, how long you kept yourself, you know, caught up in something, how long you let yourself loop. And now there's all this regret and remorse, and that's there for a reason, because the divine is calling you back to them. Calling you to start tapping into your intuition, because for too long you've just looked at everything very linearly or very logically, and you're not just a logical being. You're a spirit having a human experience, and your spirit needs to be in the driver's seat, not your logic and not your emotions. And I feel like the sky is clearing up, your mind is clearing up, and you're in this position to really see things for what they really are. And what they really are is changing, and the divine wants you to know that you can do better. You will be better. The team, the resources that you need are coming in. But the universe wants to remind you of who you are and your power that you've given away way too much. And it's time to take it back. This could be happening professionally. This could be in regards to, like, I just also feel like there's stuff with discipline that you guys are struggling with. And that's natural, especially if you have any variation of ADHD or, you know, any of the other 3-letter diagnoses or whatever. But your guilt, your pain, your shame is being stripped away. And you got to get comfortable being naked. You got to get comfortable with transparency. You got to get comfortable with vulnerability, because the lack of it has kept you stuck and kept you in your head. And you're not meant to be there. You can do so much more than think. You are so much more than your mind. And yes, we love your intellect. We appreciate the work that you do in the walking think tank that you are, because you help progress the collective with your thought processes and your curiosity. But I feel like some of you have been depressed, some of you have been upset, some of you have isolated, some of you you're able to see it physically on yourself. And this retrograde put all that info on Jump Street, all of that, all the things that you've been denying or keeping yourself too busy to notice. Aries season didn't come to play. And the divine's trying to remind you that playtime is up. And it's time for you to really start to develop you. I'll see you over on Patreon. Let's get into it. For the full version of the video, go to Patreon.